Alright, so I'm here today to touch on a couple points. This is mainly going to be about Tier 1 concealed holsters and the wedges that come with them. I don't see very many videos about that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by going through the history of how I decided to get a Tier 1 holster and proceed from there. So, the first one that I bought was this fella right here, and this is the Axis Elite. Just for the regular, it's basically, it'll fit a Glock 19 or a 19X. It's basically made for the short slide, but let me show you something cool. Gen 517, it protrudes a little bit out the bottom, but it's barely noticeable. So, didn't even have to go out and get a different holster to holster my 17 if need be. I bought that for my 19X initially, but as you see here, I added a flashlight. So I went out and bought a new one. And this is the light bearing model, and it's excellent. I love it. So first, what I'll start with is I couldn't figure out what I wanted to buy. I had some We the People holsters, had a handful of others, just, you know, some cheapies off Amazon, and I was not comfortable. I was having big issues with that. So I got on the Glock Elite page on Facebook and posted a question, and I could have easily just Googled this and found the same result. The vast majority likes Tier 1 concealed, and the main reason why is because of these wedges, even though nowadays a lot of people are actually doing their own customizable foam pads and stuff like that on the back of them. So again, like I said, I bought this one first, broke it in, got used to it, and what I put on it was the 1-inch standard wedge, the medium one. And I saw a kid that posted a video, I don't remember if it was YouTube or Facebook, and he posted his in this position. And I thoroughly enjoyed that. So one thing to note about these is when you put them on, you are going to fight like hell to get them off. I have the old one around here somewhere. I can't remember exactly where I put it. I was going to show you if I could find it, but we'll get to that in a minute anyway. This one here, never had to remove it. I still use this one for my 17, even though when I'm out in the woods I usually just wear an outer waistband because private property in America. So, on to this one. This one, as you can see here, I already put one of the wedges on it, and you can see that I fought the adhesive like crazy, right? I scraped that thing apart for probably about 2 hours, and I ripped it off, and there's a big chunk of the piece missing out of it, and a lot of that adhesive was left over with the foam. So just like, you know, as a mechanic, you got to scrape gasket off of surfaces, you're going to run a razor blade basically down the surface like this in motions away from you. I did that for probably 2.5 hours, and you can see I didn't gouge too bad into the holster, but that's probably going to be your only method to remove the wedge. That being said, you're really going to want to place it right the first time. So I'm going to put these two examples in front of you so you can get a good look at where I put my wedge and decide from there where you're going to want to go with it, what size you're going to want to use. I still think the medium is the easiest one. On this one, I put the large one on thinking that maybe, you know, a little more padding, and it didn't work out that way. It barely fit in my pants, so I had to go back to the medium one, and I played hell trying to get the thing apart. So they definitely make these holsters very solid. The adhesive on this is like an adhesive I've never ran into in my life before. It's unbelievable. Actually, there it is right there. Yeah, this is the wedge that was on this one, and as you can see, I'll put them side by side. You can see the size difference is pretty massive. And you can see where the adhesive was for this, but look at the chunk that's missing out of this thing. Yes, I fought hard, and you will never get this back on. I mean, this thing's basically garbage now. But that being said, I know nobody's ever done anything where they've talked about the wedges, so figured I'd make a video and show you guys the comparison of where I've got mine and let you make a decision from there, because it's one of them processes. It's just like doing a timing belt and a water pump on a Honda. You better be in there once and do it right, because you don't want to be in there again, or, obviously you're not going to have catastrophe. But, yeah. Yep, so I went with the Tier 1 concealed holsters, and I actually really enjoy them quite a bit. I'll show you an example of how it actually fits inside of my waistband here in just a second. Let's see here. Which one do I want to do first? We'll go ahead and do this one. We'll take one magazine. We'll stick this one and the gun in here. And I'll go ahead and show you that this is all that literally happens. Keep in mind, a lot of times you're going to be wearing a gun belt, but in the case of this, you really don't need one if you order your pants just right. So that one, full size 17, no problem at all. Keep in mind, this one's actually going to be longer, seeing how it's got the flashlight on it. So we'll go ahead and put this one in here. Get a magazine in the sidecar there. And I'm going to show you with this one, because this one is actually a lot worse to have down in there. And all you got to do is basically push against it. I'll put my shirt behind it so you can actually see me do it. If you need to sit down, all you do is either pull up on these and pull out, which is kind of a pain. I usually just like putting my thumbs behind the gun and just pushing out, and just like that. Just like that. No problem. No problem at all. It's there when I need it. I can sit in the truck with it just fine and bring it right out. No problem. Get it right back in. No problem. Same story with the 17, which is also a long gun. Keep in mind they're about the same length because this one has a flashlight. So here we go again. We'll throw this one down in here and I'll show you the same exact thing. Put it in just like that. I'll stand up. There it is. Now push against. Push away. Do not pull up on the firearm. If you do that and your finger goes in the trigger well with your hands contracting, you're going to have a bad time. Push your thumbs against the magazine and against the gun. Sit down. Just like that. Just as easy as that. It was at that time that I realized I bought the best holster. This is hands down the best sidecar appendix carry holster I've ever had. I will never need another one. However, I don't know much about outer waistband holsters, and I definitely need to get into having, I'd like to have a woods holster for this gun, because I do take this out in the woods sometimes. I don't know if I want to keep using this dedicated to that setup. I was contemplating getting a Glock 20 10mm, because we do have animals around here that are a little bit bigger than you would want them to be, and 9mm might, but I don't really want to risk that. So whether or not the frame on the 17 and the 20 is going to be similar enough for me to have a holster that shares it, probably not. But that's what we're here for, is to live it and learn it. So if anybody has any questions, jump into the comments. If you have anything to say, spit it out. I'll show you before I get offline here the ammo types. I'm running some Tula in my 17 because she's not gone through her break-in period yet. And, spicy cheap shit, why not? And then since I've been carrying my 19X so much lately and it's already past the break-in period, I've actually got some of these, God, for the life of me, I'm not going to remember what they are right now, am I? Underwood ammunition. I think they are 115 grains. I don't have the boxes from them anymore because I usually just throw all my ammo into a ammo box with a silica packet taped to the lid, just because I've learned my lesson from keeping it in cardboard. Haven't we all? So, yeah, those are the types of rounds that I'm using. Aside from that, I mean, the only other information I really got for you is that usually, if I'm going out, I usually have this here, and I usually keep a magazine sitting just like this, right in my back pocket. just because you never know. And unfortunately, these only hold, the gun, this magazine, and I gotta have an extra one on me. We live in a state where we're limited, so is what it is. I know I hear everybody say, do not comply, but it's the times we're living in, and I have no problem with it for now. As far as everything goes with that, the process of actually getting a handgun here in New York is actually not that hard. Of course, in my county, I know there's a lot of places that are much worse, but yeah, I'm pretty much just running out of information here. So I guess we'll come back next time and give you some different content. And as always, have a good day. And if you haven't got any of this, you should definitely buy you some. Blue Collar Gun Guy, out.